this video, I'm going to show you how to find a least common multiple or a least common denominator. They're almost the same thing, except when it says least common denominator, that means you're looking at the denominators of fractions. But you're still trying to find the least common multiple for those denominators. So least common multiple is the smallest number that all the values will go into. It's kind of like the opposite of greatest common factor. So let's say that we're given the numbers 8, 12, and 20, and we want to find the LCD. There's a couple ways to do this. We want to find the smallest number that all of these values will divide into. Not what will divide into these, but the smallest number that these will divide into. Okay? So the best way to do this is to look at the largest of these values, because it's going to have to be this value or larger, otherwise 20 won't go into it. And then let's start looking at the multiples of the largest number. So 20 is the first multiple, because 20 times 1 is 20. Well, neither 8 nor 12 will go into 20, so I need to do the next multiple. 20 times 2 is 40. Well, 8 goes into 40, but 12 does not, so I need to keep going. 60. 12 goes into 60, but 8 does not, so I keep going, and I get 80. Okay, 8 goes into it, but 12 doesn't. Okay, and we're going to keep doing this. That doesn't work. 120. Okay, and again, having a calculator next to you makes it helpful. So if I know that 12 goes into 120, because 12 times 10 is 120, but if I divide 120 by 8, I get an even 15. So it works for both of these, and it obviously works for 20 because we're doing multiples of 20. So the least common denominator for these is going to be 120. Now another way that you can do this, because sometimes when you're dealing with really large numbers, this can take a while. So what you can do is a tree for each of these values. What multiplies to 8? Well, 2 times 4. 2 is a prime number, so I'm going to circle it. I can't take that any further. But 4 can be reduced into 2 times 2. But I'm going to circle both of those 2's because they can't be taken down any further. They're prime. So the prime factorization for 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. If we multiply 2 times 2 times 2, it would give us 8. Now I'm going to do this for 12. Well, I'm going to do 2 times 6, circle the 2, and then 6 is 2 and 3. So the prime factorization for 12 is 2, 2, 3. Now I'm going to do it for 20. I'm going to do 4 times 5. 5 can't be taken any further, but 4 is 2 times 2. So the prime factorization for 20 is 2 times 2 times 5. All right, so now what we need to do is for each value that they have in common from their prime factorization, I only need it once. So they all have a 2 right here. I only need to use that one once. Okay, so I'm going to use a 2. But then we have another set of 2's. So I need to do another 2 for that set. There are no other numbers that they all have in common, so we have to include everything else that's left. I have to include that 2, that 3, and that 5. So I'm going to include those up here. And then if you multiply all of these together, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24, and then 24 times 5 is 120. So either way, you will get at 120 for your least common multiple.